Well, exciting breaking news here on Morning Live and SABC News. Rugby world champions, the Springboks, have managed to attract a global commercial partner in a move that will give SA Rugby a much-needed cash injection. And you heard it just a short while ago with my colleague Vusiwe Ngobo, who's out in Rosebank. And that announcement was just made about a partnership, a deal between South Africa Rugby and, of course, Coca Cola. So here's V with more from Rosebank. V?
We are still out here in Rosebank at the headquarters of Coca Cola South Africa. Now, if you've already missed the announcement that took place this morning, I'll bring you up to date pretty quickly. I had a conversation earlier on with Sergio Vieira, who is the Vice President of Franchise Operations out at Coca Cola South Africa, as well as the President of SARU, announcing to South Africa that for the next 4 years, Coca Cola South Africa is back on board in partnership with the South African Rugby Union. And now he is a man of big occasions. And what would this occasion be without the Minister of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, Minister McKenzie?
Good morning.
Good morning, Minister. Can you see they're not buying me?
Yeah, Coca-Cola Baizani, you know. It's such a great day for sport in this country. It's also a great day for South Africa to show you that Coca-Cola's commitment speaks to the faith they have in this country, the faith they have in the sports governing body called SARU. And for me, it is a great example to other corporates to follow the lead of Coca-Cola. You know, Sergio and them is doing a great job. Thank you to Coca-Cola. And this is a sign of things to come. You know, they not only, I heard you said they are back. They're not only back, they're back with a bang because there's more money. You know, I was only interested, like, Sergio, how much more money?
Oh, Sergio didn't want to tell us how much more money. That was kept for the Minister.
Those are ministerial privileges.
One day is one day. But Minister, we speak about it's motivating other corporates to come on board. And this is a message that you've spoken about quite a lot. But also when you look at this partnership between Coca Cola South Africa and the Springboks, and the fact that, and sorry rather, because it extends past the Springboks, it goes into the women's team, it goes into the youth team. How important is that as well, to not just say we're only looking at the Springboks, the 4-time world champions?
I think that's the most important part for me personally as the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture. You know, women's sport is sometimes being treated as a stepchild. You know, you look at countries like the US where there's equal participation and equal pay. And in South Africa, it's like, it sometimes gets treated as, oh, by the way, we still have women. And what Coca-Cola has done, they have shown other corporates to say, listen, this is the way, let's invest in the women's team, not only when they won, but when they're on their way to winning. But also, equally important is the fact that we mustn't only look at corporates, we must also look at the federations. There are some federations that don't even deserve a cent because their affairs are not in order. We must take responsibility to say we must account for the money that the corporates are giving us. We must make sure the money reaches the athletes and not first-class tickets and 7-star hotels for officials. And I'm mentioning this because SARU has done so well, the Springboks has done well, the women's Springbok team has done well, and that's why you see people like Coca-Cola say, let us invest.
Put our money
Let's put our money there because we can see. And this is an example for other sporting codes. Do well and the money will come. I can't in all honesty go and ask money for some of the federations because their affairs are not in order. But once again, I salute, you know, Coca-Cola. And when I spoke to Sergio, he gave, like, there's so much history between our country and Coca-Cola. It's a great country a great company in our country. It's a patriotic company. It's not only here for profits, but they're plowing back. And I want to say, well done to Coca-Cola, and I'm really, really proud of what they've done here today. And there's going to come out another Sia Kolisi with that money, another Cheslin Colby.
And we absolutely love that, because we are going to see this money going into the youth team as well, as we mentioned earlier on. And that speaks to the development. When we look at so many sporting codes in South Africa, we normally say we have talent, but it's the grassroots that's the problem. And now we're going to have these funds brought in by Coca Cola in conjunction with SARI that can be applied effectively. But also, Minister, I want to touch and go a little bit deeper before we run out of time. You spoke about how when a team does well, then the partners will come that will back up the team to continue to do well. And this is so evident when it comes to the Springboks, because how many teams in the world can say they are 4-time world champions?
I agree with you fully. I mean, like, you know, all government officials will tell you whenever you travel in the world, people ask you about the Springboks. How's the Springboks? How's the Springboks, you know? And I'm glad to see the other sporting codes are now coming up, you know. Now I got this funny story where my friend, wherever I would go, people will say, Mr. Minister, since you're minister, we are winning. So I keep on saying, no. I got nothing to do with that. And then my friend in Menenberg said to me, you mustn't say that. When they say it's because of you, you must just say thank you. Because when they lose, they're going to blame you too.
I'm glad your friend gave you that advice, because we will come knocking on your door if things are not going well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Minister of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, Minister McKenzie, also just speaking on the magnitude of this partnership between SARI as well as Coca Cola South Africa and what it really means for the sport of rugby in South Africa.